All right, guys, we got a video here, and this one is called Women Suffer in Silence. Let's check this one out.
Women, what I do feel bad for women about is the women who have been cheated on. They've said, okay, you know what? I'm going to look past this. We have family, we have kids and stuff like that. No, what I actually feel bad is that how other women, they have to suffer in silence, because if they told any of the women in their life, I'm taking him back, they would be fucking excoriated. They would be destroyed. Like, you ever want to read vitriolic comments? Any woman like who takes back a man who cheated on her, like Beyonce got way more shit than Jay-Z.
She had to put out a whole album.
Because it had, she had to like beat him up somehow to have some redemption. And again, from other women. Because women were like, how dare you take him? Because it has to, she left him.
That's social.
She'd have been the girl boss. She'd have been the, he has no right to do that.
Wouldn't that be the same for men though? If a girl cheats and a guy takes her back, wouldn't guys
same
fucking
thing. Same thing. You get pilloried for it.
Man, that's a slippery slope. That is a very slippery slope. Women are built differently than men in terms of their nature, if that makes sense. Women are more nurturing. That's just in their genetic makeup for the most part. And that's why you see a lot of women take men back who cheat. I think personally because women and men cheating are completely different in my opinion. As far as when a man cheats, a man could cheat on his wife, girlfriend, whatever, and the girl he cheats on her with, he could not even care about that girl. To him, it was just a piece. You know what I mean? There's no emotional involvement in that. Whereas a woman, she could just talk to a guy, okay, flirt with another guy. And women tend to insert themselves emotionally into these relationships way before even sex takes place. So if a woman chooses to have sex with another man, most likely it's already over. It's on a deeper connection, at least on the woman's part. And that's the difference, in my opinion, between men and women when they cheat. Now, of course, there are exceptions. There's always an exception to the rule. But for the most part, if you talk to a lot of men and a lot of women, a lot of them, believe it or not, will agree with what I just said.
So you have to suffer in silence. You have to not tell people that this happened, which, by the way, it is a hard thing for people to come back from, rebuild trust from. People do it all the time. People do it all the time. And usually what it is, they come into my office, they're like, I want to kill him. I want him out. I want to file tomorrow. And I have done this long enough that I'll go, okay, listen, if we want to do it, and on Monday we'll still do it. But this just happen.
Hang out a second.
Let's take a breath. Let's get our ducks in order. Let's, And usually a couple days later, they'll call me and they'll say, you know what, we talked, and then we're going to go talk to someone. We're going to go to a counselor. And
a lot of that is because, guys, when men cheat, when a man cheats on a woman, guys, it's usually it's not just for no reason. Like I said before, there are exceptions, but usually when a man chooses to go outside of his relationship, marriage, or whatever, there is a reason behind that. And the women, believe it or not, know it. Okay, because women make a mistake of toting the line too much, a little bit overboard, and sometimes they overstay their welcome. Perfect example of that is a woman withholding sex from her husband or long-term boyfriend, right? It seems like every time as of late he's asking for this, he's asking for that, there's always an issue, right? He's not getting that at home. So what tends to happen is the man will tend to seek that elsewhere. Okay. And when he does do that and he gets caught doing it, a lot of these women realize this, they know this, and they tell themselves, they automatically know off top what they were doing wrong. And that's why a lot of them end up taking some of these men back who cheat, because they know what they've done. They know their part. Women are not stupid. They know their part, but sometimes they overplay their hand. They think that they are doing something to keep that man in line. In reality, it's making them do quite the opposite.
Very often I never hear from that person again, and I think that they figure out a way to navigate it.
Do kids make a difference?
Yeah. Kids make huge.
Massive.
Yeah.
You have a tremendous reason to keep it together if you have children. I mean, fully going, in best case scenario, you're going to lose a huge chunk of time with your children. You're going to lose the support of a co-parent. I mean, it's difficult to raise a child with two people. It's difficult to do with one person. It's incredible.
It's almost impossible, dude. It's like, unless you have help, I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's very challenging. So I think that people have, the more skin you have in the game, you know, like that's why I always say, like, the ultra people say, like, oh, it must be really hard representing like super wealthy people. I'm like, no, they have enough money to buy another fucking house and another apartment and another place in the Hamptons, so they each have one, and they have nannies that travel between both places, so there's stability for the kids.
Sometimes they keep the kid in the same house, and the parents
nesting.
Yeah,
nesting. The parents, the kids have the nest.
So the kids never have to leave, which is really awesome.
And the parents each get an apartment, and they kind of come back and forth with the kids. And, you know, look, we don't know.
That's like a huge privilege. How many people can own free home? Like it's very. But that is probably the best for the children, because now they're not packing a bag literally every single week.
You know what I'll tell you is, we don't know who discovered water, but it probably wasn't a fish.
Yeah.
Like when a kid grows up in an environment where mom was here, dad was here, and I spent time with each other, that's just all they know. Like, okay, that's how it was. Like, when a kid's 10, 11, 12, and suddenly mom and dad who were living together are living in different places, that's traumatic. That's challenging.
That is the issue at hand when people tend to divorce. When you shake up, you know, their lives, those kids' lives. That's why you see a lot of kids crashing out and all kinds of drama ensues, because everything was so, you know, storybook, everything was so neatly pressed, and all of a sudden you just take that and you ball it up and you throw it everywhere. And you know, that is hard for a child. And parents, when they get divorced and when they do these things, guys, I look at that as a selfish act in a way, because they're not putting the kid first. All right, they're really not putting the kid first, and they should definitely put kids first if you have kids and you're trying to keep that family together, at least until those kids are old enough to understand, you know, what's going on. And I'd say, you know, maybe late teens, you know what I mean? Maybe then, and really preferably after, you know, 18 years of age is what I would do. But, you know, I understand the world is not perfect and these things happen, but that's my issue when parents get divorced, and I'm a product of that. My parents have been divorced. My parents got married and divorced again, right? So I've been through that. I've seen that. I've had that shakeup. I've been to different schools. I've been to all of these things. So, you know, it does have an effect on you. I don't care what anybody says. It definitely has an effect on you, and it has an effect on how you perceive relationships as you grow and as you navigate out here in these streets of dating, if you will.
But if you're a 2-year-old, and now it's like, okay, dad lives here, mom lives here, and when you ask that person when they're in high school, like, what was your childhood like? They'll say, like, well, I don't know, like, it was, I lived with mom sometimes, dad sometimes, I spent time with both of them. It's
also, if you grow up in like New York City, where, you know, divorce is pretty popular, it's probably easier for you to do. But I agree with you, like, the kids can be absolutely destroyed if it happens when they're a little bit older, a little bit smarter and aware of what's going on. And I see a lot of divorce where the kids are kind of being used as like a leverage tool. That's really fucked up.
Women love doing that. That is usually not the man. That is usually the woman who partakes in those activities. Okay, they do whatever they can to get at that father, and they know that those kids are an easy, low-hanging piece of fruit.
Is there ever a time where you like step in, you go, why are we punishing
I try to do that a lot. I mean, what I always say is that the person who cares less about the children has tactical advantage in a custody proceeding.
Wow.
In the same way that a bank robber has tactical advantage over the cops because they can shoot innocent bystanders. Like, the cops can't just spray with a machine gun and hope they'll hit one of the robbers. But robbers can just spray and hope they hit the cops. Like, they can run over the sidewalk, whereas cops can't do that.
How would that work in a court proceeding? For example,
you know, by insidiously alienating a child from their co-parent, you know, by injecting into the child like a dislike or a fear of your co-parent so that you get custody. I mean, by the way, most of the time this isn't just done as a vindictive thing, it's also done for financial reasons, because if you have the children more than 50% of the time, you get child support. And that's a big chunk of money. New York State, one kid's 17% of your gross income less FICA, 2 kids is 25%, 3 kids 29%, 4 kids 31%. So, like, your gross income.
Think about that. That's before taxes. Child support. So if you're spending 50% of taxes, like say you're some rich person, 31% is going to your wife and the children.
If you got 4 kids.
If you got 4 kids, and only if she gets them 51% of the time. You still got to provide for your life.
It'd be a lot cheaper to just hire a nanny and fight for custody. And that's what ends up happening.
And there's alimony that goes along with that?
There can be spousal support that goes along with that.
But think about it. So if it goes to 50% and you hire the nanny,
yeah.
at 51% to 50%, there's no real difference in the amount that you're going to see your children. But the difference in the amount that you're giving to that woman,
massive,
who now you hate and hates you. Wow.
Yeah, and by the way, there's no one like doing an accounting to make sure it's spent on the kids.
That's the
so
other
like
thing
sometimes it's like that was meant to be for the kids and it was used for the tit job.
Yeah.
Come on, man. We all know this. These are the rules to the game. That's what a lot of these women out here playing for. Before they even meet a potential suitor, guys, they're born and bred, and social media has them lined up already, lining guys up. Basketball players, athletes, people with money in general, they are being lined up and they don't even realize they're being lined up, okay? Until it's too late. And that's the thing. That's the thing that a lot of men don't realize. You're being lined up and you don't even know it. Okay, any successful man out there making a certain amount of money, a certain amount of stature, you're being lined up by somebody. Okay, and that's the problem. Those type of men, especially famous ones that people know, you don't know who to trust. So your dating pool is tainted from the get-go because you're playing, Where's Waldo, trying to find that perfect one or that woman who's not into you for the money, right? And that's why being famous is something that I couldn't do, and I'm glad I am not.
Or it was used for like sex toys with the new boyfriend.
And how is that decided who gets custody?
In New York, we have what's called the best interest standard, but most states have some variation of that, and it's as subjective and crazy as you'd think it is. Like it really is full context storytelling. Like you go in as a lawyer and you just have to try to tell the story of why your client is stable, consistent, reliable, and a good parent, and why the other side is less than. And why
this may be a New York thing, but I always hear that the mother always gets the custody.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty common misconception, and I understand why people say that, because I think women fight much harder for custody than men do, and I'll tell you why. And I probably don't even need to, but I'll point out why. If you and I, all right, if we meet in real life, we're just out in a bar, and you say to me, so Jim, tell me about yourself. And I say, well, I'm a lawyer, I'm divorced, I have my kids, they live with their mom. Every other weekend I have them. You'd go, oh, divorced dad, nice guy probably, I'm a woman.
You don't have those kids?
I have 2 kids. They live with their dad. I see them every day. What the fuck is wrong with her?
Social
drugs, mental health. And by the way, go on Instagram, #MomLife. Believe me, I've represented some co-parents of celebrities that these people are opioided out of their minds.
Jesus
but when
Christ.
it's time to take that kid out like a Birkin bag, they bring them out and they're like, I'm a mom. And then
The bullshit. Yeah, like I said, guys, he knows. He's been around the block. He's seen it. He's telling the truth. You should definitely listen, but I'm sure statistically it's the mothers who have the children more. So, I mean, you can look that up anywhere. I'm guessing that his circle, the people that he's dealing with over there where he's at, it's more of a balance to that. But,
they're back to, all right, take this fucking kid away, and they could care less.
Yeah.
But it's optics, whereas for a man, if you go, the kids live with their mom, people go, oh yeah, well of course the kids live with their mom. So that's where I think that comes from. But the truth is, men get custody all the time. The maternal presumption was eradicated years ago. There used to be something called what was called the tender years doctrine, which was if a child was under the age of 7,
you let the mom
mom automatically got custody unless you could show she was an unfit mother. That was eradicated in the 1980s. But some of the judges have been around since then, so they remember that. And judges are human. Judges are people, so they have the same bias as anybody else has. So sometimes the judge is a divorced dad who's like, dads are just as good as moms. What the fuck? Sometimes they're a pissed off ex-wife of somebody, and they're like, fuck that guy, because they're taking out. These are human.
Yeah, that's the end of the video, but yeah, I can see some of that too. And whoever says that doesn't, have anything to do with anything when decisions are made, they're smoking sherm sticks, because it does. They can play all they want on, how the judge is, supposed to be down the line, straight down the middle or whatnot. But that's why jury selection, and that's why these things happen. You have to be strategic when you do stuff like that, guys. That's why these lawyers and stuff take these precautions to do that, because they know that there's bias involved in anything. If you're a black man on trial, I mean, you're going to want some black people there on that stand. That's just what it is. If you don't, there's a bias there, and whether you want to believe it or not, that could get you, a worse sentence than maybe even getting off. So all that stuff matters. It really does. And that's going to be the end of the video. If you liked what you saw, guys, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. If you have any videos you may want me to check out and, react to, please don't hesitate to send them down my way. And I want to thank everybody for watching. I will see you in the next video.